the game is, but the pressers haven't started yet, so hopefully it won't be very long. I just have to get a few quotes. Hello? Just generally.
This is the one that was supposed to be so deep activities and hey, friends that you wanting to be home to see. So I need to call. Let me see if I can get maybe a
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Joel, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. We'll have Shaq up first.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Khalil, we'll get this. Not much. We'll get this started. You know the procedure, how we go one at a time here. So, Ron, I have hit record, so please go ahead and get started.
Hey, Khalil, so obviously a tough loss for you guys, but let's talk about your fourth quarter.
Is he muted? I can't hear
Hey,
him.
Ron, we can't hear you. You want to come over to my computer, Ron? He's coming over to my computer. He's right here. Shaq.
Okay, cool.
So, Khalil, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, obviously a tough loss for you guys, but I want to talk about the end of the game for you. That fourth quarter, you scored 2 touchdowns there in a span of 10 seconds. That first pass from Finnegan there, 52 yards. What'd you see on that play?
I mean, didn't see much. We just ran one of the plays in our game plan and executed it well, and everything went our way. So, everything went our way on that play. So, I mean, that's why it worked out.
And obviously a tough spot for any freshman quarterback to step into. What did you see out of Cade today?
I mean, he ran what he did well was he kind of just the way he handled the game and the flow that it was going. Obviously things weren't going our way, and he stepped in and handled it pretty well. You know, demanding the huddles and getting out there. Obviously, we got a lot of work to do with just getting lined up faster, but under pressure, he played well.
Thank you.
Khalil, so much hype in this game going into it, and just both your teams ranked and stuff, and to have it kind of, never really be much of a game. How disappointing was this one, just the way it went?
I mean, obviously, it showed. We went out there and we didn't play the way we wanted to. Obviously, we wanted that one, and they came out, and tonight they were the better team. They came out there and they executed on all cylinders, and it really showed. I guess for us, we're just back to the drawing boards because we got a short week coming up, and on to the next.
Obviously, you guys didn't expect this. I mean, in that second half when the lead is growing and there's really not much you guys can do. I mean, I know you had the 2 touchdowns there, but what was the feeling like, just kind of waiting for the time to run out and having, feeling where you guys haven't had very often here at home?
I mean, regardless of the score, we're going to keep playing 4 quarters, Obviously, like I said, what didn't go our way, and we were aware of the score. But at the same time, one thing about this team is we're not going to stop playing. So we're just going to keep going and going and clawing and scratching. And sometimes this happens, and it's going to be adversity for us, and we're going to have to work through it, bounce back, back to work tomorrow, and we're going to go from there.
Good. Hey, Khalil. I guess simply put, what's it like having two true freshmen as what's left on the depth chart at quarterback?
I mean, it's going to happen. It's football. It's a physical game. It's a physical game to play, and it's going to happen. So for us, I think the main thing with us is that when those true freshmen step in, there really shouldn't be that much of a separation from – it shouldn't show that much is what I'm trying to say. We should all prepare the same way, and that's kind of been something we pushing. And tonight our preparation as an offense as a whole, it wasn't there. So we just need to get better. We need to make sure that guys are locked in throughout the whole week and that there's no messing around because you never know when your number's going to get called. And tonight those guys' numbers got called, and I think they played well for first games, getting that action and actually running the offense as a whole. But we have a lot of work to do.
You didn't have Hank tonight. You unexpectedly lose Jack 10 plays into the game. How is it? How do you respond to that? Like, I mean, that's obviously a tough position to be in.
It's like I said, it's going to happen. And I think the thing with that is, okay, Cade steps up, and it's like we shouldn't lose our rhythm as an offense. Our momentum, our defense early came out, swinging, and they had a couple stops. And as an offense, we should be able to capitalize off that, and we didn't. And I feel like that slowed the game down a lot. So we just got to keep working, and we got to keep pushing each other to do our best and to keep fighting because tonight, like I said, they were the better team, and it really showed.
I guess you look for reasons to keep fighting, and with Cade going out for a few series, Andy came in, but then Cade came back and he threw a couple touchdown passes. So how did you feel like he responded?
I think he played very well. I think the way he handled it, Andy stepping in and getting a couple series, and then him stepping back in and throwing the ball well. I just still think there's a lot of work that has to be done between from quarterbacks to O-line to receivers to running backs, tight ends, as a whole offense, as a whole unit. We got a lot of work to do when the 2s and the 3s and the 4s go in. We shouldn't have much of a drop. If we're gonna say we're gonna be a top tier team, we have to do more. We have to work harder. We have to put in the work, and throughout the whole week. And it has to be from start to finish, from Sunday till the day we play. We have to be on full go and just kind of do extra. We have to do extra. We have to watch film. We have to come in on our own time. And so the difference between the 1s and the 2s and 3s isn't a drop off. We have to be able, everybody has to be top tier, because when you get thrown in, you have to be able to run the offense, or your receiver, you have to be able to run the routes the same way as the 1s run it. And everybody just has to do better as a whole, myself included. Come out early, do better, step up more as a leader, and just kind of just help this team out, because tonight we really needed to just keep fighting. And man, it didn't go our way. And like I said, tomorrow we're going to come out banging. We're going to come out there. We're going to back to work. Like I said, we play on Thursday, short week. So we got to get back to it tonight. We're not going to forget it. It's going to fuel us. We're going to keep pushing and just go from there.
Thank you.
All right, Dave.
Shaq, I was going to ask you pretty much off of what you just said, to be honest. What I was going to ask is, what can you guys take from a game like this? Boise State doesn't normally lose these sort of games, especially like this. What can you guys take from it?
I think what we can take was that we need to prepare better. We need to, as a whole offense, as a whole team, throughout the whole week, we need to step up our preparation. And if that means guys coming in after hours and just putting in more work, that's what we're going to have to do, because tonight showed that, other teams were watching tonight, and that's always the case. There's always somebody watching. And what we put on tape is not what we wanted to put on tape, but we're going to correct those issues, and we're going to watch it and play this next game. We're just going to go out there and do what we can tomorrow, work hard, put in the work, and just keep going at it. Because I know this is the type of team that's from a loss like that, it can be tough, but I know that we're not going to give up. I know it's still early. It's early in the season, and we're going to keep working.
How does this kind of continue to fuel a bit of the rivalry aspect? I know they had Zach Wilson in there late when they were way up, and I know you guys were fueled by a couple years ago in New Mexico. You weren't even here, but they took a team photo, and I know BYU did tonight. How does that add to the rivalry? Does that kind of stick with you guys?
Yeah, those things for sure stick with us. I mean, one thing Harsin just told us was, don't forget about it. So let it fuel us, as I just said, and we're going to keep working. And we know it's at the end of the day, it's always going to be a tough game with them. And like I said before, tonight they came out and they put on a show. And the thing that hurts the most is that it was on our own blue, and we have that protect the blue mentality. So we didn't do what we wanted to do tonight, and we just have to step up as a whole.
Who knows what the future holds for you? But are you eager to get another shot at them maybe one day?
Oh, for sure. I ain't going nowhere, man. We're here. I love this place, man.
Thanks, Cliff.
All right, Rachel, and then we'll have a follow-up from BJ.
I know it's hard to talk about positives after a game like this, but you had Scott Matlock, your defensive tackle, play pretty well tonight. What stood out to you about his performance?
I mean, there's a reason he was an honorary captain this week, because he's been putting in the work. Day in and day out, Scott is always doing everything to make sure that his body is right and making sure that he can always play at the level of competition that is needed for his team and the defense. So it doesn't surprise me that he went out there and did his thing. That's the type of dude he is. He's going to keep fighting and keep going till the game is over. So he's a hardworking dude, and definitely somebody that has stepped up.
Khalil, was maybe one of the tougher parts of this, the fact that you didn't show, what you guys think you can do. I mean, you had a lot of guys out with George and Octavius and some guys out on defense. I mean, and obviously, you can play better than this. Does that make it tough maybe in a matchup like this where, you weren't really at your best and your full strength?
There's no excuses. No excuses at all. Like I said before, we have the depth on this team to make it seem like that we are the same team as we are with the ones and everybody that is back. So it's no excuse at all. I don't think that is something that anybody should be saying as far as the team, as finding those excuses to try and, wheel our way out of why we lost. They were just a better team tonight. They're a really good football team.
All right, Jack. Thanks very much for joining us, man.
Yep, appreciate it. Have a nice night.
You too.
Hello, Shakir.
Can you hear me, Aaron?
Can hear you now, yeah.
your from this without last name or somebody else? I just went on there. Obviously, have my speaker. That we have. You just go back to them over your last name.
I'm watching it too. Hey, keep it down.
Yeah.
Calling the file?
Yeah, I'm waiting right now.
Ryan's gonna go right after?
Yeah, he's on right now.
Oh, okay, but I'm gonna go grab one. Thanks. No, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you. Harsin's coming here.
What's that?
You said Harsin's coming
I'm
here?
gonna bring Harsh right.
Okay, cool.
I know these stuff. I appreciate it.
No, that's good.
Sorry about that. Zach, I'm not on the comment 2 years ago and what happened with the contrast to the feeling you have tonight to that 18 years ago. You feel like you got some results before that.
You mentioned like kind of maybe describe what that halftime locker room was like as you guys set off 35 points like that.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good, good. Just unmuted you, Riley. Thanks. We'll get started with the Ron Counts from the Statesman.
Hey, Riley, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So obviously a tough loss for you guys, a big rivalry game every year for you. You know, how much does this one sting right now?
You know, it really does sting. It stings a lot. I think, you know, anytime you lose, you know, in anything in life, it stings. And at the end of the day, I just feel like we need to, you know, not deny that stinging. I think we need to accept it and let it fuel what we decide to do, you know, going forward. And so, I mean, obviously there's a lot for us to learn from, to come back and fix. And so we're going to get back to work and do just that.
And you knew Zach Wilson was going to be good coming in, but he had a great game tonight, 21 of 27, 300-plus yards. What stood out about him to you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, going into the game, we knew BYU was a great team, and Zach Wilson was a great quarterback. And, you know, they came out and executed, and we didn't. And at the end of the day, you know, you need to be able to execute and be consistent in these kind of games. And, you know, credit to BYU for being able to do that. They came out and played their butts off, and it showed. And we didn't. So, again, I mean, you know, just need to watch this game and learn from it at the end of the day. And hopefully we can come back this next week and beat Colorado State on Thursday.
You guys gave up that 86-yard touchdown run earlier. You guys hadn't really given up a big play on the ground this year. Was that kind of deflating for you guys as a defense early on?
I mean, I take a lot of responsibility for this game and how we played as a defense. I feel like I definitely didn't play up to the standard that I usually do play at. And, you know, at the end of the day, you just got to have a short memory and go to the next. But, you know, I'm going to be doing a lot of reflecting myself and, you know, finding areas that I can improve on in my personal game. And, I mean, anytime an offense scores, you know, you want to have a short memory, fix what the problem was, and get back out there and execute again. But unfortunately, that didn't happen a lot for us tonight. And I mean, it showed up in the score. They were running all over the field, and we just didn't execute.
Thank you.
Riley, I know, you know, the final score ended up being bigger, but that touchdown drive they had before halftime, you know, how much did that hurt, I guess, to give up that long drive, 96 yards, I think, let them score with like a minute left and kind of gave them some momentum going into the half?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. We didn't execute, and I mean, it's tough. It's tough and it stings. And, you know, hopefully as a team, we can take that feeling and let it fuel us for, you know, the work that we have to do. And I know personally that I'm going to be a leader and be somebody on the team who continues to help the guys come back from this, keep their head up, and continue to work hard. You know, there's still so much to do and so much work to put in. And so we just need to respond. We need to bounce back and learn from this film that we're about to watch. And, you know, hopefully we can do a better job executing this next week.
You guys were obviously, I think you were without 9 players from the 2 deep on both sides of the ball tonight. I mean, obviously some key guys were out. Is that, you know, how tough does that make it, I guess, that, you know, you guys weren't at full strength tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about how we need to have the next man up mentality. And at the end of the day, I think that, you know, it's not necessarily all on the guys who come in. It's the guys around them. It's the guys who have had experience. You know, we need to be able to step up our game and be able to play at a higher level and execute and be consistent. And unfortunately, as a team, we weren't very consistent and weren't able to get the job done or step up and help those guys who came in. And I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like it really just comes down to execution and being physical, and we weren't those things tonight.
Thanks, Riley.
All right, test.
Riley, we already know that it's a short week for you guys. You play on Thursday, so what are the next 24 to 48 hours like for you guys? How do you get past this and move on?
Yeah, I mean, tonight I think there's a lot of reflecting that we need to do individually and as a team. And there's a lot of areas that we need to improve in and come back and figure out ways that we can get better in those areas. So then the next 24 hours, I mean, tonight I feel like there's going to be a lot of reflection, but tomorrow we're going to get back to work, get in the training room, do what we need to do to put ourselves in a successful position to, come back and have a great opportunity to beat a good Colorado State team.
You talk about reflecting, maybe not necessarily with your teammates, but you yourself. How do you reflect?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like tonight, like I said, I felt like there's a lot of responsibility that I had in how we played, and I take full responsibility for that. I felt like I didn't play up to the standards that I need to. I felt like I didn't come out and be consistent. As a leader, I need to do that, and it didn't happen tonight. So gonna reflect on the game, watch film, see how I can improve, and come back. It's fueling my fire right now. Like I want to get back to work. I want to fix what I need to fix, so I can help the team in the future and moving forward.
I know that you guys don't make excuses, Riley, but does it feel like there are moving parts on your team right now that normally wouldn't be so chaotic? And that's on both sides of the ball. I mean, you lose JL last week, you get him back this week. Dimitri's out with an injury. Hank's been gone for 2 games. Jack goes out after a series. I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of moving parts right now, and some of them wouldn't be like this in a typical year.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to lose guys like Dimitri and Jack and whatnot. But like I said before, we still have a lot of guys out there who are very athletic and very great football players. And so at the end of the day, we just need the guys who have had experience need to step up and be consistent. And at the end of the day, I think that'll help the guys who are coming in and who haven't had much experience. So I think, guys who have had experience, we just need to reflect and, come back, better tomorrow and understand what we need to do to get better so that we can apply that and execute better in the future.
Thanks for your time, Riley.
Thank you.
All right, Dave.
Riley, you're talking about fuel for the immediate next few days, but how did tonight maybe fuel this rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, we knew BYU was a great team going into this game. I thought throughout the week, we did a good job at preparing and had a good plan. And, we had a lot of energy. But at the end of the day, tonight, we as players just didn't execute. And BYU came out, credit to them. They came out and executed, made a lot of great plays, moved the ball up and down the field, put a lot of points up. And, we just didn't do the things that we needed to do as Broncos and didn't, play up to the standard. And, it's embarrassing. And we need to figure it out so that we can come back and, hopefully that never happens again.
5 years ago, New Mexico took a photo on the blue of them after they won a game. BYU did it tonight, and I'm just wondering. I mean, guys on this team have talked about something that happened 5 years ago, and BYU does it too. Is that something you guys think about? Is that are you already eager to play them again? Whether that's a year from now or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. But at the end of the day, we just need to focus on how we can improve and focus on what's in the near future, and that's Colorado State. We got a short week ahead of us and a lot to fix. So we need to start tonight and tomorrow and go from there, see what we can do to come back and put ourselves in a position to be successful.
Thanks, Riley.
Thank you.
All right, Riley, thanks. Guys, we've got a Harsin entry in the room right now. So, Riley, you're all good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You guys hear me?
We can, Hars.
All right.
So we're ready whenever you are.
Yep. Good to go.
All right, Ron, you can start off with questions.
Questions here, yeah.
So, Coach, obviously a tough situation for any freshman quarterback to be in. Cade Finnegan got forced into action tonight. How difficult a scenario was that for him, and how did you think he performed tonight?
Well, let me go back. First of all, I think BYU is a very good team, and we had, I thought, a good week of preparation, considering how unique the week was, and they did some things tonight that obviously we knew would be challenging, but not the kind of performance that any one of us is proud of whatsoever. And yes, Cade coming in and playing when Jack went out, we still got to be able to execute and operate. And there was other guys. I thought Khalil tonight played well. He always does. He had some plays he showed up, which one of our leaders on our team, you'd expect that on the offensive side, but we were not consistent. And when Jack went out and things changed a little bit, we needed to gather ourselves a little bit better than what we did. And that goes back to just having ourselves better prepared going into that game, not just with our starters, but also with our backup players. They've got to, they don't get as many reps, but they got to be prepared to go in there and execute. And then as coaches, it really falls on us. We have to do a better job at the end of the day. So everything in this game, we got out-coached, outplayed. We had a block punt on special teams. So we really didn't create anything on special teams. And at the end of the day, we didn't really put any points on the board till the end of the game. And, if you're going to play with a team that's able to score, and they've shown that throughout their season, then you've got to be able to put points on the board, and we did not do that. We lost a turnover battle and, the field position battle as well. So all those things add up. And then at the quarterback position, it's really the guys, all around him. We got to be able to step up, guys that have played, and, let a guy like Cade and Andy, get in there and kind of get going. But we need to take this and learn from that, and we need to be a whole lot better when those situations come up, because tonight we were not.
When the starter goes out and you have to put the backup in, especially a freshman, how does that change things for a play caller? Do you have to totally change the way you call the game? Do some plays you prepared go out the window?
Well, it kind of depends on how that's being executed in the game. Immediately, no. As a play caller, I'll just tell you immediately, no, you have your game plan. And that game plan is what everybody prepared to go out there and execute that week. That is the plan. And the expectation is that everybody knows that plan going into that game for the circumstances that we face tonight. So there's no excuses from that standpoint. We all, as coaches and players, that is your plan. This is what you study. This is what you prepare for or use to prepare for the team you're going to play. And then it comes down to, all right, how's the flow of the game? What are we executing well? And then, yes, what are some of the things that some of those backup players actually got reps on? You want to go to those probably sooner than later so they feel more comfortable. And, we just – tonight in areas it showed up. We struggled, and that comes back to just everything leading into the game and the preparation. And so we've got to do a much better job of that as coaches to make sure that we can get in a huddle and execute and operate a play and be more successful. Because I think we had some things early. It was short-lived with Jack being out there, but we did come out the first play and we had a good play. I thought we had some things dialed up that we felt good about, but it never really showed up tonight. However, not to take anything away from BYU, they played well. They scored points. You got to score points. You got to be able to put yourself in a plus category in the turnovers, and that's an area right now we haven't done that. We had the turnover at the end of the first game. that we played, the very last play, and we've got to find ways to create turnovers and get the ball back to our offense. We can't have the things on special teams that we did tonight. And then we got to put the ball in the end zone. One bright spot, Jonah Dalmas got a chance to kick a field goal tonight, so we saw that. And, that was, an area there that we were able to put some points on the board. So, just the whole overall evening and being out there on the blue, it's not good enough at the end of the day. And so that's for all of us, and we've got to get back to work. And the things that we talk about and the things that are important, they got to be important each day, because that's where you're going to get your confidence going into a game when something happens and there might be some change or adversity, and we've got to be able to handle that better.
Thank you.
And obviously, you knew going in Zach Wilson, is a heck of a player, but they had the very early touchdown, on the second play, the 85-yard run, and then they had the touchdown right before the half and some other kind of big plays. I guess I know you know how good he is, but what did they do offensively that obviously made things tough for you guys on defense?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that first run, the guy ripped it for 80? I mean, that comes down to we obviously didn't have somebody in the right position there. However, they ripped an 80-yard run. And, I think their tailback and their O-line, it wasn't just – Zach is a very good player, and he showed that again tonight. And I think the guys around him are very good players. The O-line played well. The tailback played well, both of them. The wide receivers, I think they caught every ball that was thrown to them. It seemed like they were doing a very nice job that way. And so, you've got to be able to stop the run. We didn't do that. And so that was an explosive play. And if we're able to do that a little bit better, then we have a chance in the pass game to do some more things and hopefully get after the passer. And that's not just against BYU. That's any team we play. And we got to be able to find a way to create a turnover at some point. We've got to get our hands on the ball. We've got to get a ball on the ground that we can recover. And tonight, what I think BYU was doing, they were pretty balanced. You guys have the stats, and I'm not sure they're run to pass. They seem pretty balanced. They seem like they were getting some good one-on-ones, which is what I think they wanted. They protected the passer fairly well. We might have a couple sacks in there. I think Matlock had a couple sacks, or at least one, and he had time. So, and all those things add them up. And then there was some field position too. We did not help our defense on the offensive side because we didn't get them in great field position often. We did a couple times. I know we pinned them back, and when we had them backed up a couple times, they got out of it. And that was our opportunity on defense. When you have them there, you got to keep them pinned in. You create field position, but we could have done a better job there, especially in the third and fourth quarter with our punt team, and hopefully have gotten better field position than we did.
I know the numbers get skewed sometimes when the final margin is when passing a lot at the end, and you have third, fourth string quarterbacks in there. But you guys only rushed for 61 yards, I think, tonight on 27 carries. You didn't have George. I mean, how tough was it when you can't run the ball to get things going on offense?
Well, that's what we just talked about. Yeah, we wanted to run the ball. That was part of the plan. We wanted to run the ball every game. We wanted to run the ball, and we were not able to. We did not do it very effectively. And so we got ourselves behind, so we were throwing more to try to create some bigger plays and get ourselves into the game a little bit. And so that's not the plan that we want to operate with. And we weren't throwing the ball effectively enough either to really get ourselves back in the game so we could run it. And once that happens, that's where the turnovers or special teams play or another phase comes up and gets you hopefully a big play at that time, creates some momentum, and then you have a chance to get back on schedule where you're scoring points, you're able to run the ball, and the clock and the score does not become a factor as much as it did tonight. And the bottom line, when you're playing a team that can score points, you got to be able to score back, you got to be able to slow them down, you got to do some things on special teams, and we didn't do those things tonight.
Ryan, I know football is a physical game, and this might be unfair to ask, but Jack got injured early in the game on a quarterback sneak. I just curious, do you have a reaction to how that played out?
Jay, no. I mean, as far as what we saw on the replay, I'll go back and watch the film and see where he got hit and how he got hit. It wasn't a penalty according to the officials, but yeah, we had a QB sneak and then Jack was out. So I don't think that's ever happened that I can remember, at least for myself, coaching quarterbacks and being in that position as a player, but it did. And he was out and he didn't come back in the rest of the game. So, but yes, it's physical. Things happen. It's unfortunate. Jack I thought had a really good week of practice, obviously coming off of a pretty good game that he played against Air Force. So, but sometimes those things happen when you're playing sports and especially football. And then, now it's that opportunity for the next player to go in there and execute. And we did not do that tonight. Just overall, not just one particular player, not Cade, not any of those guys. We needed to elevate in a lot of areas, and we didn't do that.
Talking with Shaq, he said that there just can't be as big of a drop off when you send in a third or fourth string personnel at any position. But I mean, in all reality, what are the challenges of trying to realistically prepare 4 to 5 guys to play the quarterback position this year? Because that's what it seems like it's coming down to at this point, given all everything that's going on.
Right. No, that's a challenge because not everybody's getting those reps. However, Shaq's 100% right. Everybody here was recruited here to play. And I believe everybody on this team wants to play. And I hope everybody on this team believes that they can play and go out there and execute and at a high level and make a difference. So if you're not getting the physical reps, your study habits, your focus, your mental preparation that you have to have has got to be so on point so that when you do get your opportunity, you're able to go out there and maximize it. Some guys do that really well, some guys don't. And some guys have to improve on that. But it's, hey, the quarterback position, when you're in a backup role, you're not going to get the reps the starter does. However, you have film, you have mental reps, and you have post-practice things that you can do as well to get yourself as best prepared as you can. And then I think overall, too, just everybody else around you when somebody else comes in, when George went out and Andrew came in, guys elevate their game, and they need to because they're the ones in there playing, and we need to go execute better with the guys that are still the starters that are playing in that situation. So for me, I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to be prepared to play. And it's not like we don't think about those things as the week goes on. There's no excuses. But there cannot be that drop-off from your starters to your backups. Not when you're trying to be a successful football team and not when you're playing against another really good football team, and knowing that those things could happen, you've got to be ready to go in there and play. So Shaq's 100% right. And we have to not just allow ourselves in practice to sit back and just kind of be there. And if the moment comes up, then, hey, we'll go out there and we're going to automatically shine. It doesn't work like that. So there's some valuable things in a game like this, as difficult as it is, to sit there and look at what happened to us at home tonight and how embarrassing that was. We've got to take things from this game and learn from it. And I hope everybody, coaches, everybody, all right, when we think about the process that we use, all right, it matters. It's important. All right, it has to be done a certain way. It's not complicated. It's actually pretty simple. It just has to be done a certain way, and we better do that moving forward. We have a chance to beat every team on our schedule that we play, and every team that plays us has a chance to beat us. And so that's really going to be, all right, how are we going to take what we learned tonight and apply it moving forward? Colorado State's a good team. All right. And as far as I'm concerned, every team we play after what happened tonight, we better have our A game, and we better have everybody prepared to go play their A game. Might be a few little adjustments in there that we make, but other than that, we still got to go execute the game plan that we have in. That is the plan. That is what everybody studied. That's what everybody spent time on. There are no excuses. That is the plan. That's what we have to execute because that's what we believe will help us win.
All right, Dave.
Harris, quick one first. Do you, at this point, have any idea if you will be able to get Hank back next week?
I hope so. And, again, he's nothing season ending for him and all that. So I hope so. And, we'll see where Jack's at. And then we'll go from there. So all those guys, George that didn't play, I hope we get all those guys back that we had playing before that didn't play tonight.
My other one is you were on the sideline in 1996 when Idaho, put up a route on you guys like tonight. You were here when New Mexico took a photo on the field. And I'm just wondering, Khalil mentioned it a little bit. What lessons can you take as a team now and into the future from something like this that could be is so rare and could be devastating to some people?
Well, it's happened. That it happened tonight, and Dave, there's a lot of lessons you can take from this, but at the end of the day, it's embarrassing. And there's a lesson right there in itself, right? I mean, that really comes down to that. That's a part of our performance that we can control, coaches, players, everybody. And, at some point, hey, we've all been embarrassed before. At some point, like, what do you take away from that? All right, how do you not let that happen again? And you mentioned that. I remember that game against Idaho. I remember the New Mexico game. And what you learn from that. Like, you don't forget those things. And I think it's important that you don't forget those things. A lot of times all we want to do is just forget about all the negative things that have happened to us. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I think you take that and you learn from it. What happened tonight? What did BYU do? They went out and executed their game plan. They played well. They're a good football team. That's what they should have done. All right. And we had to execute our game plan, and we had to go out there and do what we believe we were capable of doing. Because I do still think that we have a good football team. But, if guys ever want to just brush it off and, hey, that's just for all these reasons that we're kind of talking about right now, if that's what guys want to do, then I think you're losing the lesson in sometimes just being embarrassed about what happened and learning from it and really internalizing it and taking it all in and figuring out, all right, how do I not let that happen again? And now, from those games you mentioned, all right, that's been a mindset. It's not like you forget that, but we obviously didn't accomplish that tonight. So I hope everybody in our program looks at this, and we'll watch it tomorrow. We're going to study it. We're not going to just put it to the side. We're not going to forget about it. If anything, we're going to spend more time on it because we have to learn from it. Because if we don't correct the things that happened to us in this game, then every other team we play is going to do all the same things. Mm-hmm. And then what lesson would we learn from that? And so I'm not a big believer on it's okay or, hey, just move on. No, learn from it. This is how you get better. This is what, in my opinion, helps you get to points in your career or life, whatever it is that you want to be, because you have to learn from these hard times like this. That's what I hope we take away from it. And, that's what we have to take away from it tonight, because those other moments you mentioned, all right, I didn't forget about those, and nor did anybody else that was involved in those moments. And I hope tonight we don't ever forget about this, because that's not how we expect ourselves to play, and that's certainly not the standard that we have for ourselves.
Thanks, Hars.
All right, Hars. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, guys.